Here we are with part 12. We've taken control of Sean in a flashback that I assume and most likely will happen right before Jack found Sean dead and then found the girl. So, because Sean right now is with the girl at the docks, so we'll see what happens. What does he have in his possession? Money, a gun, his flask, which all we have. What's this?
Sainte Marie. That's the only thing I can read on this napkin. I can't make out the rest.
So that's probably some kind of ship. Some documents, papers.
It's a terrible idea.
No, that's not one I wanted to do.
No. John Ford. Born in Portland, 1898. I'd better remember this. It will be my identity for a long time.
Yeah, it's the fake documents that he had on him.
It's a dar and it's blue. I can't think...
See what it'll let me go in here. Probably not, because he wants to get to a boat.
It's closed.
Ooh, he can't pick locks, so we'll just go this way.
It's the car that I came in.
I want to see what he says about stuff.
There's not much left of that rowboat. There are some empty bottles. I'd say that it's grog from the label.
I guess he doesn't care about this movie. So far, I'm liking the story to this one.
If I need it later on, I know where to find it. Better leave it here for now.
I mean, it's far from the greatest story or whatever, but it worked for this style. Talk to this guy and then I'll explain more.
Is this where you're bored?
Son, didn't anyone ever tell you to say hello before you start asking questions?
I'm in a hurry.
Yeah, you kids today are always in a hurry. You're always running around and only doing things halfway. Things take time, otherwise you just end up with a bunch of crap.
I'll keep that in mind, but I need to get on board urgently.
Son, I don't know what brought you and that little girl here, but this isn't a tourist port. Only sailors and fishermen leave from here, and you don't seem to be either. If you really need a ship, you can go to Riverside. There, with a couple of bucks, you'll find dozens of well-dressed sailors who will be more than happy to ferry you around the East River and tell you all the juicy details about the city.
I'm not a tourist and I need to leave from here. Now.
The only way for you to leave from here is as a sailor. No nautical documents, no access.
I have to board. It's a matter of life and death.
I'm sorry, but like I already said, without documents, I can't let anyone leave from here.
Forget about it.
Whatever.
Like I was saying, you know, you have a kind of run-down private detective, Shamus, if you will, who used to be a cop or detective and had something that happened this time with the crime family that ruined his career as a detective. And as a main detective, he had to go into the private business. And then he catches up with an old acquaintance whom he had problems with. Now, you can say it's a bit cliched, but it's one of those cliches that can either work or not work. And in this style, it can work really well and not feel stale or old. And for a game, it does pretty well. So let's see if I can't use these on him.
Here are my papers.
So your name is John Ford.
Right. A case of homonymity.
What ship do you need to board, John Ford?
The Sainte Marie. Saint Marie something. I don't remember the whole name.
The Sainte Marie de la Mer. I know that you aren't a sailor or a fisherman, but at least try to study your part better for the next time, son.
There won't be a next time.
One last thing. The girl's boarding documents are in order, but her name isn't on them. Is she your daughter?
Yes, she's my daughter.
What's her name?
Emily. Emily Fard.
Okay, the documents are in order. The Sainte Marie de la Mer will dock in a few hours.
Thanks.
Good luck, son. You'll need it.
Right.
Emily Ford also sounds pretty familiar, but then again, I could just be thinking of random things. But I am trying to look for any references that may actually be there.
Jack. Jack. Jack.
Oof.
It seems like my bar is making you sleepy lately.
It was just a few seconds of fatigue.
You were saying a name during your moment of fatigue.
What name?
You were talking about an Emily. Who's that?
No, it's no one. I just had a bad dream. Speaking of which, did you take care of the girl?
Yes. She's sleeping peacefully in my room now. Maybe you better go to bed too. You're dead on your feet.
I can't leave the girl here and go away.
Calm down. I'll take the opportunity to clean the joint a little. Oh, you should also tell me, what do I have to do with your new friend?
Who?
The Chinese cab driver?
Sean. I almost forgot about him. I'm not crazy about the idea that he might be going around telling half the world that he found a girl at the port. It's not like you could...
Keep him here?
I know I'm asking you a lot, Greta.
Don't worry. I'll keep him here until he wakes up. But you owe me a favor.
As soon as this thing's over, I'll buy you dinner at one of those clubs on the Upper East Side that you like so much.
Sure. Anyway, get out of here before you fall asleep on my bar again.
I'm gonna check to make sure it's recording really quick. Yep. Good. Just don't want to fail again and do all this work for nothing.
It's today's newspaper.
It says anything different? No, it must be the same day. Man, a lot of shit is happening in the span of one day.
It's the Joint's radio. It's the Joint.
No, it's... I don't even use to tune in or
I
anything.
like this tune. I don't want to change it.
I agree with you. I just want to see if there's anything else. Now, if there was, I'd probably turn it right back to there. Like I was saying earlier in one of my reviews, the music back then was so much better than the bullshit we have now. I mean, there are some good... It's some good music. I'm not going to be one of those people like there's no good music at all, but definitely more few and far between than it was.
Steal money from a Joint's till? That would certainly help my reputation.
Not there wasn't bad music back then, but still, you know what I mean. Like I was saying, I lost my train of thought when it went to dialogue. Emily Ford sounded familiar. And again, if anybody spots any references that I don't, feel free to put them in the comments. I really like to hear them. Just try talking to Greta again.
Jack, go to sleep. You're
Yep.
dead on your feet.
Well, luckily, I was wandering around earlier in one of my reviews, and I found that the bar is actually really close to his home.
He looks like he's in a deep sleep.
Just want to see what happens what he says if he tries to talk to
Better
him.
not wake him up. He can't cause any trouble as long as he's asleep.
I mean, even the ambience music
No,
is
I just...
really good and reminiscent of the that's kind of somber music. really good. And I'm not a music expert. I know that's some kind of horn. I'm not exactly sure what, so I'm not going to pretend that I know, but it really works well. Really worked well in LA Noir and works here as well.
I'm not going to pick up every object.
What does that say, though?
It's a notice to residents, warning them about mice in the neighborhood. Mice, another fabulous and exclusive attraction on the Lower East Side.
Let's go to bed. I want to talk, see what this guy's doing.
Slavonsky is in the porter's lodge. He spends his whole day in that hole.
I'm sure he'll probably say something to me because he left a note earlier for the ranch, so I'm just going to go talk to him.
Good evening, De Niro.
They won't let me.
Hi, Slavonsky.
I guess you got my letter.
Yes, thanks for your kindness.
Okay, so you know I'm not joking. And I heard about your mishaps tonight. It was definitely a bad night for you.
Where'd you get this information from?
I always know everything about my renters. I like to know what people who live in my apartment are up to.
Right. No vested interest there.
Exactly, De Niro. If you want to avoid any unfortunate problems, I suggest you pay me that back rent you owe me. I wouldn't want anyone call police tonight and tell them some bad things about you or your habits.
Are you threatening me?
Absolutely not. But to be safe, you could pay me what you owe me.
I already told you that I'll pay you next week.
Heard that old story too many times, then. I want my money now.
Damn Russian skinflint.
Fuck you, I'm not paying you shit.
No. First, I better take care of this thing with Slavonsky. If he went to the police, Malone would be thrilled to believe all his lies to toss me in the clink.
I'll take care of him, alright. I'll take care of him real good. I know this is going to work, but I have to do it.
It's a terrible idea.
No, it's a fun idea. That definitely won't work.
Here's your money.
Okay, De Niro. This way we can get back to our pleasant owner-renter relationship, huh?
Keep the money, and your pleasant relationship.
Anyway, I want to show you my loyalty to renters. I find out about your misadventures from police detective.
A police detective?
Da, one Ballard. He woke me up in middle of night to ask about you. And when he found you one year, he asked to see your apartment.
Did you let him in?
Of course. I don't have any intention of upsetting police to protect a renter who always pays late like you, Del Niro.
Tell me about this police detective.
What do you want to know?
What kind of guy was he?
He introduced himself as Detective Ballard of State Police. He was pretty tall, had dark skin, was well dressed. He spoke kind of funny, seemed like a foreigner.
What did he do when he went into my apartment?
I don't know, he wanted to go in alone, but he was quick. He seemed unhappy when he left.
Dannazione. Malone is trying to frame me. Who knows what that guy was hoping to find in my apartment? I'm not interested in anything else.
Good.
Why isn't the heat working?
Problems with boiler. It doesn't want to turn on.
Did you call a technician?
Nah, technicians are good for nothing and want much money. Boiler is solid. A few adjustments, it'll be like new.
Until it breaks down again next month. Goodbye, Slavonsky.
Goodbye, Del Niro.
Definitely figured somebody was trying to frame him. I don't know if the police is in with the mob or what's going on. Thank God he turned the switch manually.
A full... A few hours of sleep should get me back in shape.
Something's gonna happen, I think. Oh, back to Sean, it looks like, because the clock is winding back.
While Emily is asleep in the cabin, I sneak for a smoke on the deck of the boat. We'll be off to Canada soon, leaving New York, Professor Zindler, and this whole mess behind us. We made it. We're safe, I think. But the barrel of a gun between me shoulder blades makes me think otherwise. It's the Turk. He found us. With a sleight of hand worthy of a surgeon, he slides his hand over me holster, puts on the safety, and takes me gun. He pushes the gun into me back and starts talking with that horrible accent of his. He's talking about something, but I'm not listening. I'm too focused on finding a way to get out of this situation. But I can't think of anything. If I make one false move, the Turk will pump my gut full of lead. All of a sudden, fortune smiles on me. A big wave hits the boat, sending it rocking. The Turk loses his balance. A fraction of a second, and I'm on him. His gun lets off a shot. I ignore it. I don't have time to figure out what it hit. I gather all my strength and head for the hold. The Turk falls like a sack of bricks. That should keep him in line for a little while. Grabbing Emily, I get off the boat. They know where I am, and I have to hurry up and run away. I don't have much time. I have to find a place to hide Emily. If the Turk got to me, it won't take the others long to get here too.
If Reno, Root, and Eleanor showed up, I'm out of here. So, let's go this way.
The door is locked with a padlock, but it's been partly corroded by salt. If I could find something to use as a lever, I could break it.
I definitely don't have anything here. See what's over
These
here.
wooden crates seem to contain toys, at least judging by the logo on them.
I don't think there'd be much in there. Look around for what is that?
These warehouses would be a great place to hide Emily, but they're closed.
It's probably one of the... It's not a very good accent. The voices in this game are kind of off. I don't mind Jack's voice that much. It is a little bit annoying. Kind of like sound like Snake if you had a bad cold or something. But oh well. I mean, the gameplay is good enough. The rest of the style is good enough to where that's just you can easily ignore that.
One of the jetties collapsed.
I don't want to go that way. And shouldn't he have that horn on him? The board?
I'd be crazy to go aboard that ship again. The Saint...
Nothing. So I
The
guess
Saint... Better not. The Turk might not be alone. And if someone is waiting for him, they'll definitely be at the entrance.
look for something. If not, we'll go back to the wheel and see if we can't find an option in there. Maybe we could take out the one stick. Because that's what you found on his body. The one that said Faith on it. And use that as leverage or whatever. Because you have to pick it up. Because unless like the bad guy picks it up or whatever. So like I said, you found it on him. So I somehow has to get to Sean. Getting close to the end of this video.
I was able to get a part of the plate off.
It already has blood on it. That's strange. That's a mistake the developers did, or that's supposed
By
to?
using that piece of metal as a lever, I should be able to break the padlock. One good hit and the lock breaks without any problems. I try to get Emily to enter the shipyard, but she's afraid. I put one of my darts around her neck and I tell her we're playing a game. I'll count to 30, she has to hide, and I'll come looking for her. I'll whistle every now and then with my horn, and she has to do the same when she hears it. I tell her to never come out of her hiding spot because I have to find her. If she hides well, I'll give her a toy all for herself. Emily heads for the shipyard. From her eyes, I can see she didn't buy the story about the game, but she knows she needs to do it. The kid's on the ball. The hole in my lungs was getting worse and worse. It's starting to get hard to even breathe. With my last bit of energy, I head towards the entrance. I get to the outside telephone near the harbour master's office and I call the police. Their intervention won't help much, but at least it will put a lot of people on guard and that will put the brakes on the Turk's friends. Then I call the last person I ever thought could help me, Jack. I cover the telephone with a handkerchief so he doesn't recognize my voice. If he knew it was me, he'd never come. The telephone starts ringing and someone picks up on the other end. It's Jack answering. I make up the first lie that comes into my head to get him here. Halfway through the telephone call, the lines dropped. They cut the electricity in the telephone lines. They're here. I did everything I could, but now all that's left is to wait for the end. And I certainly don't want to do it here. If I have to die, I want to do so somewhere decent with the sound of the waves in my ears and the sight of the moon slashing through the rainy sky. Yes, it's a good place for a goodbye.
Perfect place for a final shootout. But that way, if I had to die somewhere, and I knew I had to die and I was around that, I'd be like, hell yeah. If I have to die, I'll go there.
Dannazione! I keep having these dreams, if you can call them dreams. They're so real. The port, the girl, Sean, and then that hitman, that Turk. It all seems to match. How is that possible? How can a dream be so real? How can a dream explain things I don't know? Maybe I better knock it off with the questions and get up. I must have slept a couple of hours. That's more than enough for a hardened insomniac like me. Come on, Jack. The night's still young, and there are people out there who would love to see you dead. And maybe one of them is the guy who last night was pretending to be Inspector Ballard. I'd better ask Slavonsky a few more questions.
Alright.